What up, y'all? So, I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference that people seem to be very not understanding of freedom of speech and freedom of consequence. And then also, it'll kind of blend in a little with the actions of people doing stuff on betting and social media as well. But a lot of people tend to seem to get confused of you can say whatever you want. There's no issues with that whatsoever. It's your right. But when you decide to post things on social media or say things in a derogatory mark, you still are going to have to deal with the consequences of it. So if, for example, you post or say something maybe racist, sure, you could say it. But I guarantee you're probably not going to have a lot of friends around you. And a consequence, you might have to, one point, understand you might wind up getting beaten up by whoever you're being negative to. Or in this case of where someone even in my job, they got fired recently for posting racist stuff on social media, which is deserved. But a lot of people tend to even really don't understand when they get away from work, your actions and what you do on social media still could reflect back toward the company. And all it takes is one person to show a manager, hey, this is what he's posted online. And all it goes is right up the chain to HR. And then next thing you know, you're gone. And the only person you can blame him is yourself. Sure, you could be mad at the company or you could be mad at the person or whatever, but realistically, it was your own arrogance for posting it. Or even thinking it, really, because realistically, there's no place for it. People shouldn't be holding so much hate in their hearts for it. But even then, under the bottom lines of even consequences on contracts. Like recently, there's been a couple NFL players. They have the freedom to bet and do what they want, but they have to deal with the consequence if they get caught. Like the Colts cornerback who just recently got caught for betting. Calvin Ridley lost an entire year last year for betting. It's like a lot of people, they don't read the contract. They don't read what rules they can and can't do. And they even take it into the freedom of speech side of things where they think they could say whatever they want and not have to suffer any consequence for it. No, there's always going to be repercussions of whatever you do. If you are doing generosity things and doing nice things, chances are the repercussion to that is eventually, hopefully, some nice things happen to you. If you do nothing but negative and derogatory things, chances are you're probably going to get negative and derogatory things thrown back at you at some point, or you're going to suffer some kind of a consequence for it. So the whole aspect is, if you really want to be able to have freedom of speech, you got to also be willing to own the freedom of consequence. Because if you go off saying derogatories about black people, Asian people, white people, and Japanese people, whoever you could think of, chances are those ethnicities, if you're derogatory toward them, they're going to come back after you. So hopefully people start understanding that freedom of speech is not always the best case scenario. And social media is the worst place to post that kind of stuff. Because A, you're openly signifying what you are, and you're proud of it. And B, once it's out there in the media, you can't get rid of it. Even if you delete it, all it took is one person screenshotting it, and you're done. So people need to really start thinking what they're posting, what they're doing, what they're thinking, because there's no place for it. And I continue to hope that the people that are being derogatory and being messed up, I hope their freedom of speech eventually gets them their real true freedom of consequence in tenfolds. But that's kind of where I'm going on it. But for everyone on it, be careful on what you say and what you post. And if you have hate in your heart, try to get rid of it. There's no real place for it. Learn to forgive, forget. Or, well, you could forgive, but not forget. But if someone's done you wrong, you could tell them, hey, I forgive you, but I never want to see you again. Don't hold the hate, because eventually it's only going to become your issue if you post anything wrong on social media or say anything wrong overall. It's not worth it. But thank y'all for watching. Let me know what your guys' opinions are and what you think. Later.